The Las Vegas Open is in full effect right now, and we just got a ton of reveals from Games Workshop on the Warhammer community website. So let's take a look at what we got, because there's something pretty damn cool I want to go into. So for starters, we got some new Mechanicus models coming out here. It looks to be like some Mechanicus cowboys. So let's take a look here. This is kind of run in its entirety. We're just going to kind of run through some fun things between Bartholomeus and Full Idiot Ra. There was a bit of a rumor that some Custodes were coming out, with some new models, and some Seraphon. It looks like from this reveal that has been substantiated with the Seraphon. Now, of course, this could mean that some Custodes are coming out in time. We don't know quite yet. This is running for the entirety of this weekend, so we might get some more reveals towards the end of the weekend. We'll kind of see as things kind of pan themselves out. But we are seeing that we're getting 2 new units with the Mechanicus here. It looks to be a unit of flyers, which are, the all kind of steampunky awesomeness of the Mechanicus. I can't read binary. Maybe one of you guys can. And we also get, here's our new Mechanicus Cowboys, as it was so aptly named. And they look pretty cool. Hopefully this means that the Astra Militarum will get a return of the Rough Riders, which were a really fun cavalry unit way back in the day. So we'll see if that kind of comes to light here. Cyber Birdmen, as the site calls it, the Petraxi and the Cerbis. We'll see if that kind of comes to full light here. It's a dual kit. So we're looking at a kit with looks to be some flamer weapons going on here. We see in this one, and this looks to be a close combat and a pistol variant. Or no, I'm sorry. Let's see. We'll see these units upcoming. Archaeoraptor will be available in the Engine War, the latest thrilling installment in the Psychic Awakening series. This is something we'll see the war for the Imperium soul kick into high gear as Imperial Knights, Chaos Knights, the Adeptus Mechanicus, and Demons of Chaos battle amidst revelations of hidden subcults. So these are going to be the new models that are going to be coming with that new Engine War Psychic Awakening, and we'll see that kind of coming out here pretty soon. But we do have one coming out quite soon as well. That is going to be some, hopefully some greenskins. Let's take a look at this, and this one has been kind of running around the rumor mill a little bit as to greenskins hopefully getting some new models. They need it. I collected greenskins back in like 3rd edition Warhammer 40,000, and they're the same models for the most part. And this looks to be the big bad mighty Ghazghkull himself, but they kind of make a little joke out of it on the community site for Makari, which was I think like a 2nd or 3rd edition standard bearer with Ghazghkull. So Makari and Psychic are coming soon. And I mean, it is what this looks like. I mean, this looks like a pretty beefy, awesome model. Kind of in the same scale that we've gotten with Mephiston or with Abaddon the Despoiler. All sorts of these big scale like leaders of these factions. And it's really kind of cool to see these bigger, nicer, awesome sculpts kind of hit the Games Workshop range. But the one thing of this announcement that probably has me the most amped up and most excited is Warhammer Age of Sigmar's Lumineth Realm here. What was it called? I don't even know. Let's just watch this. I'm stoked on it. Look at it. This is fucking sick. These are silver helms. A silver host. Look at these new silver helms, basically. A Phalanx of Light. High Elf Spearman. Round 2.0, right? A Hero Reborn. That's Eltharion. That is Eltharion, my favorite High Elf character from 8th edition. And look, boom, big bad mighty Teclis himself with the Sphinx. So we're finally getting the taster of what used to be called Tyrian Sun Elves, or Lumineth Realm-lords is the name of them. We told you we'd think of a better name because it used to be Pointy Elves. So we finally get the Tyrian Sun Elves, the Tyrian elves that are supposed to be kind of angelic, and we get some really badass models. They really kind of follow the same motif of almost like a Lothern Seaguard, but rather than having a bow and arrow on their back, they have a sword on their back. So I'm very curious to see what the rules are going to be like. I imagine they're going to be very similar to the Eternal Guard, which have made their way into the Sylvaneth Wood Elf equivalent army list. So I'm very curious to see how this plays. Someone asked me like, hey, how would you envision Sun Elves? And I said, okay, well, if Ideneth Deepkin are lightly armored but heavy damage and a lot of mortal wounds, I would hope that these guys are a little bit tankier, maybe not as much burst damage, but a lot more sustainable damage with a lot of really creative and fun magic. And it looks to be that we're kind of leaning in that direction. And I did also mention that I would want to see a lot of cavalry in a resurgent High Elf faction. And boom, we get it. The Venari Dawn Riders, as they're called. And I'm so stoked on these guys. So I was going to do Idoneth Deepkin as my very first Age of Sigmar army, but this is it, guys. This is what gets me into Age of Sigmar. I always said if they redid High Elves in a fun, cool, creative way, I would finally give it a really good shot. And this is the thing that's just going to tip me over. The only thing that could really do this outside of this would be like a faction that was a combination of Abhorrash and Gila Breton. So Bretonia and Blood Dragon Vampires. But look at Eltharion here. This character is called the Light of Eltharion. He has no corporeal body here. He's just this being of light, as we saw. And it's pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty goddamn jazzed about this right now. So let's see. The Teclis isn't the only name you might recognize amongst the new range. The Light of Eltharion sees one of the most legendary heroes of this ancient race return with a truly stunning new miniature. Look closer. That armor is hollow. So here is our mighty new Teclis as well. We got a little bit of a teaser of him. We saw just the silhouette of him, the vector of him, and we can see him as a much bigger, taller individual here. He's no longer the small little sickly Teclis that he was in the world that was. He is a mighty deity now of Haish. And we see now that he is, this little being right here is called a Selenar, or a Kelenar, whatever it is going to be. The spirit of Haish. So this is a really cool centerpiece model. Every single Age of Sigmar army has these big, huge centerpiece models. It's a very big recurring motif of Age of Sigmar, right? You get Archaon the Everchosen himself. You get Alarielle. You get all these big deal scale models. So I'm really stoked to see if we get Tyrion as well. They did say there's even more Lumineth Realm-lords to show you closer to their release. We're probably looking at a March release date around maybe Adepticon. We'll probably skip over them throughout February. If we look at the Slaves of Darkness, the Slaves of Darkness got a reveal about a month and a half, 2 months prior to their full launch at the beginning of this year. So we'll probably see the same pattern here in a March-April timeline. If my spider senses are tingling enough, I think that the Lumineth Realm-lords will come in conjunction with the Total War Warhammer 2 DLC that I'm heavily speculating will be the High Elves. Again, this is purely blowing it out of my own ass conjecture here, but it's a very high likelihood that they might tie those in together. We'll see what kind of happens here too, because as we kind of pan down here, we also get the Seraphon. The Seraphon are finally getting a new upgraded battle tome here in Age of Sigmar 2.0. They're going to get a nice, cool, awesome centerpiece terrain piece that every single faction in Age of Sigmar is now getting, and that's actually making its way into Warhammer 40,000 8th edition. So we're going to see more of these really cool centerpieces, and hopefully some new and fun, exciting models here. When we take a look at this picture, I don't see anything that stands out as overly new in this. It looks like that's just, I thought that was maybe Krok-Gar, but it's not even Krok-Gar. So we'll see what comes with the new Seraphon battle tome, and this really kind of goes into the nitty gritty of their lore, and it looks to kind of, I guess, hammer out some of the dents from 1.0. So hopefully the Seraphon battle tome will really kind of shore up their lore in a really fun and exciting way. Warhammer Underworld here gets its some new models as well. Meet the Wormspat, a warband of repellent rotbringers ready to bring Nurgle's love to ultimate competitive miniature game. And they look disgusting, as you would expect from Nurgle. And they can also double to some fun models for both Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar. Moving into Blackstone Fortress, we get Zoats. Now, Zoats are something that are pretty interesting. They're in Warhammer Fantasy. They have seen their appearance in a number of things, even in 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy. The Zoat is also very distantly mentioned in Warhammer 40,000's very distant older lore. And that's what Blackstone Fortress kind of does, is it digs up a lot of those really cool older units and says, hey, why don't we give these guys new life? That's what we have the Men of Iron in this. We are Men of Gold. Or the other, I can't remember. We have Squats in this, we have Zoats in this, we have all these fun, different characteristic characters here in the Blackstone Fortress, so it's really cool. I actually just bought a Blackstone Fortress model for one of my armies, so they have a bunch of cool ranges that fit into everyone's armies for the most part, depending on what you're playing. Forge World, though, also going to get some big boy badasses here. I mean, that's the one cool thing about Forge World, is it kind of crosses back and forth between Warhammer 40k and Forge World Warhammer 30,000. And the same thing I'm imagining is going to happen with Age of Sigmar and Warhammer the Old World. We're going to get a lot of really cool miniatures that add rules to both sets of games. So it's cool to see that we're getting more expansion to the Forge world, further expansion to the Horus Heresy with another index book. And we're getting Chin-Ja from the White Scars being added in here as well. Another awesome centerpiece model. They always add these really, really cool, awesome captains to the rosters of the legions, in addition to their really cool Primarchs. So it's cool to see those added as well. And then there's Warhammer Heroes, which I have yet to care about. But then there's Angels of Death, and we're gonna watch this here together. It's a minute and a half, minute 5 long, and it is sick. So I'm not gonna talk. I'm gonna pump up the volume on this.
This is Captain Salkin of the Blood Angel strike cruiser Sword of Baal. Respond.
We're going to pause this for 2 seconds, let the rendering kind of finish up here. It is worth noting that the people at LVO actually saw an extended cut of this. This is just kind of a limited one. And you'll notice some of the voices as you kind of listen to this. One of them is the voice actor for Minsk from Baldur's Gate 2. So let's go ahead and play. That didn't render, but we'll deal with it.
Still cannot reach Captain Orfeo or his retinue, shipmistress.
Without darkness, there can be no light.
The false angels are resilient, but they shall be broken!
Minx right there. That's that big of one.
I am vengeance! I am wrath! I am death!
Man, that is going to be so sick. I cannot wait for that. I mean, just look at some of these stills here. Like, hopefully it's going to be better than Warhammer 40,000 Ultramarine, which also wasn't that terrible. But I'm really, really stoked to see what happens with LVO, guys. I'm hoping we're going to get some more reveals, maybe some hints of the Tau that are coming up, the Gene Stealer cults. There's a heavy hinting on, of course, some Custodes that we haven't seen through this release here. So hopefully we'll get some more fun stuff as the event unfolds throughout this weekend. But as always, thank you so much for watching here today. I promise I will continue to get you guys updated on any events that happen here, especially on anything with the new Lumineth Realm-lords, because holy shit, that's awesome. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, and take care.